drivers know this might be their last chance to get these cars to go wide open throttle, get them screaming, all those RPMs, all those gears, and all that speed. As now our pace car tucks into the pits and our drivers start to round turn 11, and it all comes down to this, Kyle.
It all comes down to this. You said it exactly right. It's time to go racing in the Grid Life Rush Series. Race number 4, the final points race of the 2025 competition season. Thanks for joining us here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Here we go. Green flag, and we're underway at Laguna Seca. TJ Hunt's on the outside of 3 wide already. We're 4 wide midfield and down to the Andretti hairpin. Let's see if they all get out the other side.
It looked like there was some contact right off the go, and we've already seen brakes lighten up, dust in the air. And do we get a clean run through turn 2? And they're still stacked up as they start to fly down towards turn 3. Wait to see if we can get them in focus to find out where that shuffle is at, because it is pretty crazy to kick this race off.
I'm really impressed. We kept all the cars pointed the same direction down there at turn 2. Andy Vocal up the inside of Nico Bratz. That was for about 5th spot. Really tight racing there through that flat turn 4. And out front, it's Schneider over Merzberger. There's French over Hosey for 3rd place.
Yeah, a little bit of a shuffle right off the kick, but I think we're going to see side-by-side or 3 wide action through the vast majority of the starts. Want to dive in there. Not quite sure. To car 51, able to make a late dive and getting through the dirt, and it's going to be no track limits for this race, just like all weekend. And I expect, whoa, there we go, one out into the wild.
That was Vocal, I think. Yes, it was. The 34, and he's going to drop way down the order at turn 6. Everybody scatters in for the lead. Here comes Merzberger on the outside of the corkscrew and down the hill. Big slide, and French is going to take advantage of it to the outside.
This is what we were hoping for. Last-ditch effort on every single lap, and look at French able to basically take advantage of that entire situation. Someone getting a little bit wild. Now we see French in second. What a dangerous spot for him to be. Another car
off at the turn 10 complex and just went straight. I don't know what happened there, but it looked like it just wasn't turning. Not sure if there's a suspension issue or something, but Hosey goes straight off, and in a cloud of dust, we'll continue. And here's a look at it again. Watch the 8 try to turn in, and it just right front lock up, and it just speared straight off the racetrack.
Yeah, wow. And thankfully it looks like able to get it stopped, and we'll probably see a caution. Another puff of smoke coming off. Could that be Bratz?
No, Bratz is in the red car. I think it's the white car in trail that's doing that. It's Ryerson Whistle that had a big lockup going down there into turn 2, and he's chasing TJ Hunt, who sits 5th right now.
Yeah, he's moved up the pack a little bit now. Some of that is just due to incidents in front of him, but hey, to finish first you have to finish, and Hunt's been able to do that through the vast majority of this season.
And up for the lead, Schneider and French.
French going to go for a bit of a swing in there, electing to go a little bit wider, maybe a bit of fresh air to try and get that swing back. And look at how he's able to pick up the pace and really get into the tail of Schneider. So he can do the same thing again, electing to go wide. Will he swing in through 6, doing a good job carrying that speed, closing up the gap quick. Man, French taking some crazy lines to pick up the pace.
And just trying to carry as much momentum as possible. He's going to look to the right, big wiggle for Schneider on the binders, side by side into the corkscrew, but French can't keep the overlap there. A little wiggle for the 2 car on the downhill run. It's a 3-horse race for 1st place.
Yeah, French is kind of learning from some of the drifters and get that slip angle in through a lot of these corners, finding that he's able to pick up a bit more pace, go for a wider line, and get back onto the throttle really quick. The upside is you can keep the revs going in these cars. Not that they load up that much, but if you can get it to slide just a bit, but keep the RPM up, when it does hook, you're going to get a good dive out and no bogging as they come down that straight.
0.2 of a second quicker Schneider is than French as they come up across the start-finish line here. Let's see, 0.2. Ooh, actually, quickest lap of the race is Nico Bratz. Ryerson Whistle got by TJ Hunt for 5th place. And into turn 2, here comes French poking the nose to the inside of Schneider for the lead. Was there a touch there? It was close.
It was very, very close. Yeah, French just really likes intimidating drivers. He loves playing up into their mirrors, loves going for maybe a fake dive, get them a little bit off their game, rethinking what their line should be. And then as soon as they make even the slightest mistake, he could dive through 2-3 cars to try and get that pass done. So French just so good at intimidating other drivers and pushing them to make some sort of mistake.
There's Nico Bratz in the number 7, starting to close it on Merzberger, French, and Schneider. And has that purple wipe on the screen. Fastest car on the racetrack right now.
That's really interesting that he's able to do that. So getting a bit of air punch for him. Now he's gonna have to go a little bit quicker to gain that proximity one more time through this section, but it's starting to fall back. And there's French one more time, electing to take that mid line. Is he gonna go for that lunge? He does.
On the outside, he's been so late on the brakes. He's been really trusting that car. Now the plunge down the hill, still side by side now. He just lost the overlap as he carves down Rady curve. Schneider, French, Mersberger all battling, and Bratz still waiting in behind, waiting for an opportunity. French to the outside, and here comes Mersberger in that 114. And there's see Hosey still off there at turn 10. I don't think they still have a yellow covering that, so he should be good to race through there, and that's good news because here comes French to the lead.
French going wide, getting that slip angle in the dirt. Does he get the traction back down? But this is it. Mersberger able to use that to get past French. Now they're side by side coming down the straight, holding it through one. French with a very uncharacteristic mistake, just a little bit aggressive, and Mersberger just jumps all over the opportunity.
Every lap that these drivers spend battling brings Bratz closer in that red number 7. They're still side by side for second place. French is not willing to give it up. He runs out to the edge of the curbing there. But here comes Bratz, and there's 2 cars slow. Schneider has lost drive at the exit of turn 3. He picks it back up, but drops to second place.
Wow, what a change. I mean, French again dipping a wheel in the dirt. Listen, he's looking for any line he can find, even if that means going off-roading. French getting a little bit desperate out there, it seems. And he's, I mean, he's comes from such an amazing pedigree of driving. He's kind of trying everything. Look at the dive as he gets on the brakes a little bit earlier. Going to go for that swing back through the section of 5, try and carry that momentum, and then just out-brake or just out-drive anybody through 6. So see how he sets things up as we do get that change. Mersberger now leading out front. I mean, I can't believe Schneider just had that mistake.
Yeah, sometimes these cars have gotten stuck in gear occasionally. It's a very rare thing, but it seemed like it stopped accelerating and then went right back into gear. So maybe just something happened with the pneumatic gearbox there. But once he got it back in gear, he's gotten the speed back. Bratz is right there, but it did give Mersberger a pretty sizable advantage, about 6 or 7 car lengths now as they run through Rainy Curve into turn 10, and French trying to line up to get by for second. He's been stuck P3 for most of this race.
Yeah, that car is getting very shifty. I mean, even under braking, you can see him starting to fight the front grip, whether he's fighting a little bit of understeer, but French does such a good job through this section, although not getting the dig out of it that he was hoping for, and our leaders start to pull away from him. But look at Bratz now starting to get that draft. We'll see if French decides to take a bit of a breather lap, and Bratz might be able to pick up on that, getting the fastest lap again.
Yeah, Bratz has held that for a couple of laps now. Here's a battle deeper in the field. That is Cole Gamma on the outside. Jalen Batley to the inside. I think that's the 88. Big lockup for Ryerson Whistle on the attack on TJ Hunt, but 3 abreast into the Andretti hairpin doesn't always work, so they had to sort it out. That is the 88 there ahead of Gamma.
Wow, they're holding on to it all the way through. This is wild. I don't know how our... Whoa, there's our contact.
That's Omar Kayal into the back of Cole Gamma. Just tried to do the over-under and just forgot to do the under. Yeah. Drove up the back tailpipes of that Cole Gamma machine.
No, he got under. He just got under the rear end of the car.
And he's going to have a look now into the driver's left and opens up the door. Cole Gamma's going to let him go by. That was a pretty big shot to the rear body work there.
You can see how much work they have to do under that threshold braking, trying to hold the brakes into that corner, because that car wants to get a little bit squirrely as soon as you really dive into that pedal. But all the drivers doing quite a good job. I think that brake pad change has made a big difference, because we're not, knock on wood, seeing the spins that we've seen previously in this season.
Yeah, we've seen drivers be so much more confident on the brakes. That was something that our motorsports director, John Raymond, was telling me, that they were experimenting with different brake pad compounds to hopefully prevent these cars from swapping ends in the braking zones with a heavy rear bias where you lock up the rear tires. But we've seen drivers just sending it into the braking zones, and instead of swapping ends, you just see them wiggle a little bit because they're on the limit of grip down there. And that's been something French, with his extensive experience in prototype racing, has used to his advantage. But he's going to need all that experience to run away from Schneider and run down Mersberger with just 6 minutes to go.
Yeah, for right now, French in second, again side by side going into turn 2. French, can he hold the outside line? Because Schneider is doing what French normally does, late braking onto the inside. He does a great job through that exit, and French has to watch somebody use his own move against him.
Yeah, a little contact there side by side, just hip and shoulder there. Nico Bratz is going to see that and smell blood in the water. There's the dorsal fin in the number 7.
Love that, hunting him down. No, This is great. So I think Bratz, I mean, as we're starting to tick down a little bit, we're about halfway through this session. Bratz now getting very, very comfortable in that spot and maybe noticing some of the mistakes and opportunities. There is an advantage of sitting back there for a little bit. You can kind of read the competition and understand and wait for them to start fighting. And Bratz had a couple of opportunities, just hasn't been able to seize it to go in for that dive. But I don't think it'll be long before French tries something again as they power through turn 6.
Oh man, using every inch of racetrack is Michael Schneider to keep keep French and Bratz at bay. But for Bryce Mersberger, his first win in his career in the GRIDLIFE Rush Series was back at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We didn't score points there. He won 4 more races at Audubon Country Club. No points there either. This would be a point-scoring win for him, and with the strongest field we've seen all season, maybe except for Summer Apex at Road America a couple of months ago. What a statement this would be for the driver of the 114 car.
Yeah, it would be amazing, and right now he is letting 2, 3, and 4 all battle it out. So Mersberger's got kind of a lonely race for right now, but it won't take long for French to start taking a few tenths off here and there to try and gain back that lead. You know he wants it, and he will try basically anything to gain it back.
Well, that time through, Bryce Mersberger, he's going to pick up, Schneider picked up the purple wipe, so that's the best lap for him. You see James French does 2.2 seconds back from the overall race lead at the moment. Things have strung out for now, but there's still time left for someone to throw it away. We've seen that happen so many times this weekend.
Yeah, all it takes is one brave dive, a little bit of wheel-on-wheel-on contact, and then we're looking at a few of these rush cars playing in the dirt, and then if we get a stack up, that is going to be pretty interesting. So right now, I think for Schneider, for French, for Bratz, and kind of anybody else, they're hoping that we get that pace car back out there. They can stack things up because all of those drivers are so good on the restart.
Bratz all over the back of James French. And a lot of camaraderie in this paddock as well. We've seen drivers all chatting post-race about, you know, the overs and the unders and the big moves that they've made on the track. And Nico is here this morning, 7 a.m., already at chat with the team, getting set for a full day of racing. And he was battling up to the top 3 pretty much every round last time. He's just been on the outside looking in of race wins this season.
It's looking like Bratz is starting to reel in French just a little bit in a couple of different spots. So we'll see how this ends up playing out. Man, French is so aggressive on his turn-in. You could turn this black and white. You could change all the body colors over. You would still be able to pick French out of the lineup the way he drives these rush cars.
There's just something about him, the experience that he has in motorsport and in this kind of car. Maybe, you know, the prototype experience he has bleeding over into this championship. But under the flag stand here, at least 2 laps to go as we come up under the bridge gantry there. Schneider under fire from French, and Nico Bratz going to try to set up for the over-under on both of them.
Yeah, great move there from Bratz. We talked about this. He will lay in wait for his opportunity. Does a great job, and unfortunately for Schneider, looks like 2 cars getting past him in one corner just by taking that wrong line through that section. Now we check in on a few of the back markers and more battles continuing on.
That's 51 of Gage Hughes working his way by. I think, is that Elaspezia in the 111 car? We haven't talked with him yet today, but there he is. No, that's not the 111, but they're going to work their way out of turn 2 now. Battle pretty deep in the field, I have to imagine. This is a little bit down the order.
Yeah, but it just shows you how great this racing is. And
it's the 12th, sorry, it's the Brent de Giacomo.
Oh, Giacomo, wow, yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is one of those series you got to come see in person because we want to focus on the leaders and all that stuff, but these battles are happening everywhere on track.
Oh, look at Batley on the outside of Beaupre. That's a squeeze there for Beaupre up the inside. And that is a battle for 8th place. You see TJ Hunt up there in 7th, Ryerson Whistle just ahead. We saw Ryerson really locking up the tires. I mentioned earlier, if you drag those tires around too much without ABS, you grind a flat spot into them, and it just keeps getting worse every time you lock the tires up. So curious if that'll affect his braking in the last couple minutes of this race.
Yeah, it just means he's going to have to potentially coast through a couple of these sections. I mean, through turns like 11, he might have to get on the brakes a little bit earlier. Could change how he apexes. And we've seen a few drivers do a good job of doing that, getting the slow early and getting a tight turn in. But the predictable line is to take it nice and wide that we're seeing here with TJ Hunt going a bit more on the midline. If you can get the dig out of it, it can work out well for you. But yeah, that traditional line going nice and wide.
Bryce Mersberger has nobody in the rearview mirror, not close enough to touch. And Nico Bratz picks up the fastest lap of the race again, 2.6 seconds back and right on top of French. So maybe he could climb his way up onto that silver status of the podium, but there's Mersberger tracking out of turn 4 and just running for his life.
And it just shows you for Schneider how one corner can basically change your entire race. Things were looking so good for him, and then on our last lap, just not in the great position going into 2, and got that double pass from both French and Bratz. And look at Bratz. I mean, I'm excited to to see if he can start to battle back up through this.
I'm impressed that Mersberger has been able to put so much distance on everybody else's. Yeah, Brad's got by French there and has now put distance on the blue and black car, and as you said, and you know, just setting sail at this point.
Yeah, he sat in wait and maybe allowing everybody else to overwork those tires a little bit, overwork the brakes a little bit, and Brad's just waiting for everybody else to kind of wear themselves down, maybe take some damage through French going off track, and then just slide by. Didn't catch the pass on camera, but for Brad, this was a very intelligent race for him as the clock is ticking down, sub 1 minute. Will we see the white flag pop out here?
I would expect it this time. We'll keep an eye on the flag stand. It's hidden under the bridge, but Bryce Mersberger would be the first one to see it. Then it's going to be Nico Bratz in the number 7. There's the white flag. It will be the final lap of the race.
This is going to be really scary for Nico Bratz, because we know French will leave a little bit left in the tank and see what he's able to do with it. So for Bratz, he's got to be very aware. Just because you got that pass done, we've already seen French go for those late last-minute dives. He could do it again here, as we see French taking a bit more of an awkward line. I think he's losing grip in the rear. That car's stepping out pretty quickly. He's been overdriving it for this entire race.
Ellis Spezia is up to 5th place, by the way. TJ Hunt to 6th. He got back by Ryerson Whistle in the 67, so move Hunt back to P6, and maybe, I don't think P5's on the table unless we see a mistake from one of the front runners, but the front 3 pretty evenly spaced out here, Jacob, on this last lap.
Yeah, and here's hoping that Bratz just got a little bit left in that car. I think he does. French is going to have to just hold on for dear life, because Schneider will have a little bit more to be able to pull out later in this lap, but there's not a lot of time left as we come through 6, over halfway through the lap, and a big spread across our top 4.
To the corkscrew for the final time, Bryce Mersberger has won a lot of races this year that counted for the weekend but didn't count for the championship. I'm not sure that that was really his mission this year, was to pick up a championship. Just with the rounds he was running, his experience was picked up round after round after round to bring it all the way to the tail end of the season. The last points race of the year, Bryce Mersberger put on a clinic there, carving his way through past Michael Schneider, and he's going to come home a race winner in the GRIDLIFE Rush Series Championship, the last race of 2025. Bryce Mersberger wins at GRIDLIFE Laguna over Nico Bratz, over James French, and over pole sitter Michael Schneider.
Wow, what a great run from all these drivers. I know, you know, unless you're sitting top of the pole, you're not going to be super happy with it, but an incredible story, incredible way to wrap up this weekend. But the battle still continues in the mid-pack.
Oh boy, big lunges up here into the final few corners, side by side. Oh man, look at that. TJ Hunt loses out to Ryerson Whistle by 0.02 of a second for 6th place. Jalen Batley and Beau Prey, just a 10th between them. Omar Kayal inside the top 10. That was close.
Yeah, look at that finish. Almost all the
3 wide. Holy cow.
Can't take your eyes off for a second.
No, it's like you got to put a kid gate up or to start tumbling down the stairs on their own. Puppy's getting into all sorts of things down there. Man. Gotta keep your eyes on him for sure, Jacob.
Oh, that was great. That was great. Man, such a beautiful race. I mean, this is why we all fell in love with racing, is that just because you're maybe not in the front, but the battle continues on in so many other places. So great work to all these drivers. A war of attrition throughout the entire season, and congratulations to so many drivers either winning championships, races, or just personal battles to get back out there. So congrats to all of you, but this is how things wrap up.
Bryce Mersberger wins race 4. Nico Bratz, James French, Schneider, and Spezia. Ryerson Whistle, TJ Hunt, what a battle to the line, just 200s between them. Jalen Batley, Sebastian Beaupre, and Omar Kayal, your top 10, Jacob.
Yeah, moving into the top 20 now, Andy Vogel falling a little bit further back, Matt Wilson, Nate Hamilton holding on to 13th, Sam Kim, Hassan Ahmed, Josh Longman, and Alex Chang, Gage Hughes, Ryan Kircher, and Vilas Saldana is taking in our top 20.
Yeah, John Robinson was just behind the number 190, Kyle Melnick to 22nd, Brett DiGiacomo right there in 23rd, Michael Neff, John Babbitt, Ethan Hardesty, then Reed, Chan, Brady, and Vincent, the rest of your top 30. And the last handful of drivers in this race, Sanders, Kirsting, Krull, Bauer, Hardesty, Nair, Frost, Gamma, and Blair Hosey in the number 8. He had an off at turn 10, unfortunately locked it up and just could not get it moving after that. Jacob, that was a blast.
That was incredible. And man, some of the best wheel-to-wheel racing that you can watch, period. That was just so great. And man, Spec Series racing is so much fun, especially with something like this where you got a big mix of amateur and ex-pro drivers. Makes for some incredible moves, and yeah, happy to be a part of it.
Let's have a look at the highlights from GRIDLIFE Rush Series race number 4 on the start. Typical 3 wide, big moves down into the corkscrew for the first time. James French around the outside of them, 2 of Michael Schneider, but it was really these 3, Schneider, French, and Mersberger, that put on the biggest show, Jacob.
Yeah, Yeah, and it continued on all the way through, although perhaps laying in wait for so much of this race, watching his competitors go wheel to wheel, bumper to bumper, and trading some paint here and there, and eventually he will make that pass. And for French, it all looked good, but just I feel like overworked the car through so much of it and lost some pace.
Yeah, Schneider and French banged fenders there coming around to the checkers, but it was Bryce Merzberger that would pick up the race 4 win and get the job done here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. He'll win the last points race of the season here in the GRIDLIFE Rush Series Championship.
What an incredible year.
What an incredible year. Well, this has been a fun weekend here, but we still have some winners to talk to. Let's head down to Jonathan Grace and chat with our first and second place finishers in GRIDLIFE Rush Series Race 4. Jonathan?
Checked out.
We're down here with our race winner in the number 114 in the Rush category. Our third different winner in as many races, and you sealed off the last race for the Rush category on Sunday. Bryce Merzberger, you had a fight to get to the front. Talk us through battling through the first couple of positions.
I'm speechless right now. I know James French was really fast out there this whole weekend, and I kind of left it up to him to make the move, and I tried to follow him to the pass, but you know, James made a mistake. I got around him, and then the other guy, I don't know his name, he made a mistake, got stuck in neutral in the last corner, opened up that gap, and just consistency was just what ended up helping us through that race. So
pulled a little bit of a gap at the end. Were you driving in your mirrors at all, or did you feel confident that the win was yours?
I wouldn't say I was confident it was mine. I definitely put it on cruise control, trying to hold some of that energy before, just in case if they did get up there, I had something to give them back. But just watching my mirrors, I watched my teammate Nico battling with James and all of them back there. So once I saw that battling, I kind of knew I had a nice little gap I could work with.
We can rest easy knowing that the first place hardware is yours now. Bryce Merzberger, our winner in race 4. Let's go catch up with P2 here and Nico Bratz. Let's see if we can weave our way through the cars. The 7 car finished in P2. See if we can grab you. Nico, finishing P2, how close was the win today?
Well, with the battle between second, third, and fourth, it was pretty tight between us. So Bryce was able to really set some consistent laps down. So I would have needed a few more laps in order to even catch to him, because I don't know what he's running, but he's still fast. So it would be hard.
Well, you were quick too. You had to make your way up the order in the second stage of the race just to get up into the podium spots and secure a P2. Did you feel like the win was maybe on?
Oh, definitely. Always. There's always a chance. Anything can happen in racing. So.
Well, either way, you still came away with a podium in the final race of the weekend. Congratulations. It's first and second here in the final Rush race of the weekend, guys.